Okay, so as you move your sitting bones, physically allow yourself to move a little side to side so you can feel one side and then feel the other side, and then come back to a centered place. And as you come to a little stillness, lengthening through your spine, lengthen the back of your neck, let your eyes close, and take a couple deep breaths, letting yourself simply notice this place. Notice your body in this space. Tuning in for a moment to what it is your body is telling you for any kind of message. And as you bring hands to connect at heart center, gently press palms together. Lift your shoulders up and back and lengthen the back of your neck. Take a couple movements side to side with your head and your neck. And then bow towards your heart. Keep that chin tucked down position and release your hands down, open your eyes. And as you take a couple more movements with your head and your neck, just notice specifics for yourself of whatever's going on through your neck, through the tops of your shoulders. Then lifting up through the back of your neck, tall spine. Let's wrap your right arm around to the left side to the back of your neck and find that spot at the bottom of your neck where it sticks out a little ways. And then hold on to that spot. You can use your left hand to help. But then pull forward against that place and push back. And then take your head over to the left so it's leaning onto your hand. And then a little bit of side to side movement or a little bit of nodding. Whatever movement feels good here. Allowing for the side of your hand to be a little bit of a massage tool. Then inhale back up to center. Left arm reaches around and take a hold of that same spot. Then pull forward and press back. And take your head over to the right. And add that movement so that you've got a little bit of work happening on the side of your hand with your neck. Maybe with your jawline. However that shows up for you. Then back into center, releasing your hand down, roll shoulders back a couple times. Take ear to shoulder through that movement. Then back into center, take arms out to your cactus, 90-degree angle with your elbows, and think of tilting your elbows a little forward, plug in with your shoulder blades. Take a couple big breaths as you draw shoulder blades toward each other and lift your elbows up a little bit more, taking a tiny back bend. Engage your low belly and your low ribs to support your back body in this action. Take a full big breath. And then as you draw your elbows in together to touch, think of touching elbows first and then your hands. Inhale, open it up wide. And exhale, elbows draw in first to touch, then hands. And then inhale, open it up. One more time. Exhaling, elbows touch, then hands. Inhale, open it up. Then release your arms down, give your shoulders a little roll back. Hands come behind you to clasp. Press palms together, lift your shoulders up and back. Elbows hug back with a bend to them. And then again, another movement here side to side with your head and neck, ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Back into center, switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. Shift your sitting bones. And now reach arms long out to the side, plug in with your shoulder blades, and then little circles backwards. And as you take these little circles backwards, just notice that as your arms and your shoulders start to warm up, and the circles start to get larger. So you get to try to maintain that small movement. Then turn your palms forward, thumbs up, shoulder blades on your back, and take those little circles again. Little circles backwards. And then palms up, shoulder blades engage, and little circles backwards. Good, release your arms down, do a couple rolls back. And then tilt your chin up and down a couple times as you roll your shoulders back. And then back into center now. Arms reach wide and then wrap left elbow over your right for some hugs, reaching toward your shoulder blades. Walk fingertips further toward your shoulder blades. Plug in with your shoulder blades. And then tuck your chin down. Take a couple big breaths into the space between your shoulder blades. And now open up wide and switch the cross. Right arm over the left, and walk your fingertips back. Shoulder blades engage. Tuck your chin down and take a big breath. And then inhale, open wide. Palms down, plug in with shoulder blades, and then take hands behind your back to clasp again. One more time, pressing palms. Lift your shoulders up and back. Lengthen the back of your neck and take a couple big breaths here, engaging through the core to help you and support you through the back body as you lift your chest. Then releasing your hands, go ahead and shift forward onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, right away shift hips back into a child's pose, turning your palms up to face the ceiling. Couple big breaths here, just allowing that external arm bone rotation. Allow for a full couple of breaths. Then inhaling, rising to hands and knees. You're welcome to set something underneath your knees for support here if you would like. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Toes tuck under and then lift your hips up and back. And as you do so, keep that rotation of your elbow pits forward. Keep that strong push of your hands. Take a big couple of breaths and pedal out, bending one knee at a time, allowing shoulders to stay stable and stationary, but for your hips to do a little movement, for your hamstrings to get a little stretch. Then back in the center here, from your lats out through your hands, push. Lift your sitting bones up a little higher and take another deep breath. And then walk your feet forward, coming into your forward fold. Take as many steps as you need to get there. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press hips back, start to lift up and open through shoulders, and inhale, rise. All the way up to stand, and then set yourself up. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes, and then root them down. And now as you root them down, bend your knees, and from your hips, your glutes, out through your feet, push. Turn your palms forward, and take just a moment here, ear to shoulder. Find a little length through your neck. And then come back to stillness. Let your eyes close and take a full breath. Feeling from feet to crown for a couple of deep breaths. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant fingertips, right foot steps back into your lunge. Take a couple deep breaths. Center with your hips, grow long through your spine. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, step your left foot back into your lunge. Wrap your right hip back. Lengthen your sides. Big breath. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, step back with your right foot. Turn and plant your right heel, but keep your hands at your blocks or at the floor. So you have a warrior two stance with your legs, but your torso is straight ahead. Wrap your glute down and under on your left leg, so your leg might push right out against your arm here. Take one more big breath, extending your heart. Then tuck your back toes and step forward. Next, exhale, left foot steps back, turn and plant your back heel. And again, open your right knee up. Use your glute wrapping to help that action. Grow longer through your spine. Take another full breath. Tuck your back toes and step forward. Next, exhale, right foot steps back. This time, right knee comes down to the ground. Walk your hands to the inside. Extend longer through your heart. And then work down toward one elbow, maybe two. Take a couple big breaths, finding that place for yourself here in your alligator or lizard pose. Then rising back to hands, bring them to either side of your front leg. Lift your back knee and step forward. Next, exhale, left foot steps back, left knee comes down. Work your hands to the inside and grow longer through your spine before you settle down toward one elbow, maybe two. As you come to this side, notice for yourself if there's any difference in sensation. Then rising back to your hands, lift your back knee and step forward. Exhaling, fold over your legs. Feel free to take a hold here of opposite elbows or clasp hands behind the back of your neck. A couple breaths, allowing yourself a little movement in your fold. Chance to check in and notice any parts that are particularly tight. And now hands to hips, push back on hips, lift shoulders up and back and rise all the way up. And as you come all the way up to stand, we'll take a sideways stance on our mats. And as you take that wide stance, We're going to take our goddess pose. And so we're turning toes and knees out at the same angle. And as you turn your toes and knees out, your heels turn in, bend your knees, and see if you can find that place where knees are stacking, knees and toes are in the same direction. Wrap glutes down and under to help knees open toward the pinky toe edge. Hands come together at your heart and start a little bit of movement side to side here with your hips. As you move a little side to side, try to keep your hips low. Lift your chest. Take another big, deep breath. And as you come back into center here with your hips, take your hands to your thighs or to your knees. Shoulder blades on your back, but then we'll start a little bit of twisting. As you exhale, draw your right shoulder forward, your left shoulder back. Inhale back to center, and exhale, left shoulder forward. And keep moving with your breath a couple times to each side. And as you do so, keep shoulder blades engaged on your back without letting your shoulder pop forward, but twisting from your torso instead. And then as you come back into center, go ahead and work your legs towards straight. Give them a little bit of a break. Hands to your hips. Lift your shoulders up and back. Take a full breath. And now bending knees back into that goddess place, opening the knees up. This time your right hand or your right elbow comes down to your thigh. Left hand comes to your hip. Opening both knees up. You're welcome to stretch. Top arm up and over your ear here if you would like to. Turning your torso open. Wrapping that left glute in particular down and under. Big breath. Keeping your hips low, inhale, rise back up with your torso. Left elbow to your knee or left hand to your knee. Right hand to your hip. First check, opening both knees. Then feel free to stretch if that feels good in your body. Take a deep breath. Inhale back up to center, work legs toward straight, and then walk your feet in and just give your legs a little shake. A little work for your legs there through goddess. We don't do that pose very often, it's a tough one. Now, feet inner hip distance apart and parallel at the front of your mat. The awesome thing is it gets you ready for any activities that you like to do, whether it's gardening or whether it's hiking. Thighs are ready if you do goddess pose. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant hands, step back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full deep breath. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Knees down if you would like. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Extend your front. Exhale, lower. Inhale, curl up and open as high as your body needs. Broad through collarbones. Think of hugging elbows in a little ways as you find that external arm bone rotation. Exhaling, downward facing dog pose. Big breath. And then walk your feet forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press back on hips. Lift shoulders up and back and rise all the way up to stand. And now from your standing position, find feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. And then take a moment here to lift and spread your toes. And then root down with your toes. Turn your palms forward. Take a moment for a breath with eyes closed if that's comfortable. And now softly opening the eyes, shift your weight over to your left foot and touch your right toes behind you. Torso is still lifted, center with your hips, and now from the inner thigh on the back leg, lift. And as you lift, then you can begin to tilt your torso, coming into that warrior three variation. Take your left thumb into your left hip crease and press it back to help you even out your hips a little more. Take a big full breath, engage low belly, low ribs, filling into that kidney area. Take a full deep inhale, long deep exhale. And inhale, rise all the way back up, foot back to the ground. And now touch left toes back behind you. Center with your hips. From the inner thigh, lift your back leg and start to find that warrior three variation. Right thumb into your hip crease, press your hip back, creating that space in your right side. And now tone, low belly, low ribs. Take a full breath. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Set your feet down, feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and then root them. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Plant fingertips, step right foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel. And now bring left elbow to your knee, right hand to your hip. Taking that side angle pose variation here. Left knee opening up toward the pinky toe edge. Press down with your elbow and rise up through your ribs a little bit. Both shoulder blades engage. If you want to, you can stretch. Top arm up and over. Top hand comes back to your hip. Work left fingertips to a block on the inside or the outside of your left leg, and then work your left leg towards straight, coming into your triangle pose. Big toe mound is pushing down, wrap your left glute, and turn your belly and your heart to the right. And now stretching straight up with your right arm, push down with your left hand, and lift more through your right. Plug in with both shoulder blades, and now extend longer through your heart. On your exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Tuck your back toes and step back. Downward facing dog pose. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Knees down if you want. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Extend further through your heart. Exhale, bend elbows lower down. Inhale, curl up and open with your heart. Take whatever variation of cobra works in your body today. Full big breath. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Root strongly through palms and fingertips. Find that rotation of elbow pits and push from laps through hands. Inhale, lift your right leg, centered with your hips, press through your heel. Wrap your left hip back. Exhale, step, right foot forward in between your hands. Turn and plant your back heel so your foot's parallel to the back of your mat. Set your right elbow on your knee, left hand to your hip as you start to turn yourself open into your side angle pose. Turning your right knee toward the pinky toe edge, then push your elbow down, lift your ribs. And from this place, left arm can reach up and over your ear if that's in your practice, or you can have it at your hip or stretch it straight up, whichever feels the best. Take a deep breath. Top hand back to your hip. And then you're going to find your block on the inside or the outside of your leg, whichever feels the best. Work your right leg towards straight. Find your glute wrapping down and under and your big toe mound pressing down as you turn your belly and your heart more open. And then if you want to, you can stretch straight up with your arm. Take a big deep breath. Push down more, reach up more. Plug in with shoulder blades. Deep, full, big breath. On your exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat, and then step all the way back onto your hands and knees, and then child's pose. Take a moment here to tune into your breath. Then inhale, rise to hands and knees. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Tuck toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog pose, deep breath. And then walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Make sure blocks are close to the front of your mat. And then hands to your hips. Push back on hips. Lift your shoulders up and back. Inhale, rise. And so now set yourself up, feet inner hip distance apart in parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root them down. Turn your palms open, close your eyes, take a full breath. Now hands come to your hips. And with a bend to your knees, a little micro bend, start to push your hips back, heart forward, and come to a half fold here where your hands are on your blocks. And from this place, as you send your sitting bones up and extend your heart forward, tone low belly, low ribs, so you have support through your core. Then you're going to lift your right leg up and think of lifting from your inner thigh so your toes stay rotated down. Big, full, deep inhale and exhale, lengthen your spine. Keep toning through your core. Wrap your left hip back. And now we're going to take our right hand and keep our right hand on our block, left thumb into our hip crease. Press your hip crease back and begin to revolve. Turn your belly and your heart to the left side. So we have our twisted half moon here. As you start to open up with your shoulders, put your shoulder blades on your back. If you feel pretty open with your shoulders, you're welcome to stretch your left arm up. For me, I never quite feel that open. But lift from your inner thigh on your back leg. Full big breath. Exhale, both hands come back down to your blocks. Both feet come back down to the ground. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale, fold over your legs. Then inhale, hands back up onto your blocks, lengthening. Send sitting bones up, extend your heart, and then again, engage your core. Your left leg lifts this time. Think of lifting from the inner thigh so your toes stay rotated down. And then your left hand is on your block. Right thumb into your hip crease and push your hip crease back. Lengthen your spine more. Then begin to turn your torso toward the right. Shoulder blades engage. Lift from your inner thigh on your left leg. Full big breath. Again, if it's in your practice, if it feels good, stretch your right arm to the sky. Exhale, both hands come down, both feet come down. Take an inhale, lengthen partway. Exhale and fold. Plant hands, step your left foot back into your lunge. And from here, bring your back knee down, bring your hands to the inside. You can always have hands on blocks, or you can work with the floor here. So now as you extend your heart further forward, start to lift your hips up a little bit so you're unbending your knee, but keep a wrapping action of your right glute so your knee is turning to the pinky toe edge. Now bend your elbows and start to get your chest low. As you get your chest low, if it feels like you have space, then you're welcome to take your right hand underneath your right leg. Use your hand on your calf to work your shoulder underneath your leg. From there, extend your heart forward. You can plant your right hand on the other side, growing longer through your spine. If you feel so inclined, you're welcome to inch your right leg forward and maybe lift it, or you can keep it right. And then work your hands back to the inside and work back to a downward facing dog pose. Take a full breath. Hips staying level, press evenly with both hands and lift your left leg. And instead of turning open, wrap your right hip back, press longer through your heel, press from lats out through your hands. Then step left foot forward in between your hands. Your back knee comes to the ground. Work your hands to the inside. And again, you can always use blocks here. That's an option. Take your hands to about shoulder distance apart. And then as you wrap your left glute down and under, start to move your knee back, your hips lift a little bit as you bend your elbows and get your chest low. From that place, if you want to, you can work your left hand behind your calf, work your shoulder underneath, hand to the other side, and then start to extend your heart. And again, from here, you can always work your foot a little forward and lift it, or keep it right at the ground. Either one. Take a big, deep breath. And then gently hips work back to release your arm back out. And then settle back on the hands and knees. Hips to heels for your child's pose. And then gently push yourself up to your seat. And we'll come all the way down to sitting bones. And now left leg underneath the right, back towards your right sitting bone or right hip. Left leg crosses over or it stays on the inside, whichever feels the best for your twist. So now hug in with your knee and lift up tall through your spine. Switch your right thumb to your hip crease and think of pushing forward on the thigh bone. So we're trying to let our sacrum be even, our SI joint be even here. Tendency is for it to push back on just the side with the leg that's lifted. So push your thigh bone forward, lift your ribs, and as you exhale, draw your low ribs in to help you twist toward the right side. You can always take left elbow around your knee here if you'd like. You can take fingertips to the other side or right fingertips to the outside of your right hip. You can switch to your elbow coming to the other side if you want to. But notice that right hip and think of drawing your right SI joint forward, the thigh bone forward. As you tilt up, as you lift up through your sides. Exhale, low ribs in to help you twist. But try not to let your pelvis tilt back. Inhale, come back into center. And uncross your legs. And then take right leg underneath, left leg over the top. And hug your knees in. You're engaging your feet here. And lift your sides. And from here, you can take thumb into your hip crease on the left side and push the thigh bone forward. Lift your ribs. Exhale, low ribs drawn in to help you twist. And then you're welcome to switch to crossing your elbow over, fingertips behind you. Let's see if you can notice that place where your pelvis tilts forward. Your left SI joint is tilting up and forward. With that, one more big breath. Use an exhale to help your low ribs draw in to aid the twist. Inhale, come back into center. Uncross your legs, footprints to the floor. And then let's take wide knees in our butterflies. So soles of feet together, feet as close to your body as you can sit tall, all the way from your pelvis, all the way from your sacrum. Take a big couple of breaths here with a long spine. Feel free to close your eyes if you'd like to. Deep breath. And softly opening your eyes, bringing both knees up, and then extending the legs out long in front of you. Move sitting bones, and now walk your feet in just a couple inches so that your knees are bent, feet are flexed. Move your sitting bones back and broad. And then as you press down with fingertips, lift your ribs, tilt your belly toward your legs, and then take your fold. Hinging from the hips, maybe reach out for your feet here. Keep that tilt of your pelvis, angling forward with your belly. And then if it works in your body to walk your feet all the way out, you're welcome to. Take a big, full, deep breath and notice for yourself what's there for you today, what's showing up in your body. Push down with your heels. And let that push help you to keep your knees from locking. Then inhale, gently rise back up. And bend your knees. And we're making our way all the way down onto our backs. Make sure that you have your props handy and ready. And as you come down onto your back, knees are hugging in. You're rocking side to side. Giving your back body a little massage, but also letting your low back lengthen. And as you come back into center, set your left foot down, lift your right foot toward the ceiling, flex your foot, and then take your right thumb into your hip crease and give your hip a push. And from there, just lightly take your leg across your body to the left side. Keep a reach through your heel. Keep that push into your hips, so you're evening out with your hips. And now tilt your pelvis so that your sitting bones are trying to move down. You're trying to create a little lift through your low back. Take a big, deep breath. Then back into center, bend your knee, give it a squeeze into your chest. And now set right foot down, lift your left knee and then extend your leg. Flex your foot, thumb into your hip crease and give your hip a push. And then take your leg across your body just a little bit so that both hips are still on the ground. Flex your foot, keep that push into your hip, and then tilt your sitting bones down. Full big breath. Two more deep breaths right here. And then back to center. Give your knee a squeeze. And set both feet on the ground. Drop knees in together to touch. Reach your arms overhead. Long through your spine, long through your sides. Take a couple big breaths as your low back is lifting here in this stretch, and send your breath into your low back. And now walk your feet back into center and pull your right knee back into your chest. Open it up to the right side and aim your foot up toward the ceiling. And then you can take a hold wherever you need to for your half happy baby pose here. Idea is wherever you are holding on, your sitting bones can tilt down. So maybe onto the back of your thigh or the outside of your shin instead of your foot, depending on the length of your arms. From there, open your left knee up to the left side, flexing your left foot and rocking to the pinky toe edge. Take a big, deep breath. And then your left knee comes back up to center. Your right foot comes back to the ground. And then lift left knee into your chest. Open to the left side with your knee. Aim your foot up toward the ceiling and then hold on where it is you need to still have that tilt of your pelvis, sitting bones down. Then open your right leg, coming to the pinky toe edge of your foot. Both feet are active. Take a deep breath. And then right foot comes back to center, left foot comes to the ground. And again, one more time, drop knees in together to touch. And then take arms to cactus this time. 90-degree angle, palms facing the ceiling. And then take a couple of movements with your head. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Nod your head to the right side. And nod your head to the left side. Then full body stretch, reach through your legs, reach through your arms, take a deep breath. And then begin to set yourself up into your best, most comfortable resting pose. Whatever that looks like for you, take the time to support yourself. You can even take the time to set your bolster up high on a couple of blocks if you'd like your legs lifted a little ways. You can take your time to set your legs up the wall if you want to. But really focus on giving yourself a release, giving your body a chance to let go, to settle in. Begin to take a deeper breath. And to gently move through fingers and through toes. Start to notice any sensations that are there. As you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to one side. And slowly press yourself back up to your seat. Taking hands together at heart center with your eyes closed, take a moment for a full couple of breaths. Your next couple of breaths will add some extra exhales. So take an inhale, and then on an exhale, press your breath out as deeply and as far as your body is ready for, even adding that little bit of core work into that press. Inhale to a natural place, and exhale, press your breath out slowly, but as far and deep as you can get your body to go. Inhale to a natural place. One more this way. Full, slow, long exhale, pressing your breath out, adding that drawing in of your low belly. Natural inhale, and then let your breath return to a natural place. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks, Kelly.